Hello, my name is Roberta Shagam. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and a parent coach. Today, I'd like to speak with you about arguing with your children and how to stop it. Do you find yourself yelling at them daily, promising yourself you'll stop and doing it again the next day, thinking, am I harming them? Will they remember me as a yelling parent? Perhaps you're arguing with your significant other about the children. For the past 30 years, I've been working with families on this issue and many others. And today, I'd like to help you with a 4-step plan, learn how to stop arguing with your children and how to start enjoying time spent with them. The first step is to pause, is to slow down. We are often so rushed in our lives, rushed to give them a resolution, rushed to give children whatever they want. Let's slow down. This is a good practice to get into, which hopefully will become a habit. We need to calm the nervous system. Perhaps as you're slowing down, you'll realize that you need to take a physical break. You can tell them, I'm going to take a walk around the block, or I'm going to go into my room and be there for 30 minutes to 60 minutes, and I'll be back and we'll continue the conversation. Now, if you forget to tell them that you'll be back, if you forget to pause, if you're not aware of it in the middle of the argument, please be kind to yourselves because you're new at this. You've just now started to realize that you need to make a shift in your behavior. So, the next step is to find a place that you can have some peace and quiet to process the thoughts, the feelings that happen during the argument. And please don't make it the toilet because you might have to be in there for a while. I believe that families, that parents are entitled to have a room with a door that they can shut and lock, to have time for yourself. So now, as you are there, notice what feelings, thoughts, or even body sensations are here. Are you feeling sad that your child didn't listen to you? Angry? Unheard? Perhaps you're thinking, I'm disregarded, or I'm not important, otherwise my child would listen. Often we don't like to recognize negative feelings such as anger. However, the body never lies. So the body might give us a sensation of warmth, for example, moving up from the arms into the face, and that could be your sign of anger. So notice those as well. The second part of this step 2 is asking yourself, are these familiar feelings, thoughts, or body sensations from your childhood? Do you remember feeling unheard, unsafe, disregarded, or thinking, I'm not important to the adults in my life? If so, if memories come up, the current situation with the argument with your child was probably bringing up memories from your past. And we call that being triggered. And that tells me that you have no control here because we don't have control over our memories and our feelings. That means that you are not at fault. You are not to blame here. This is just a bad situation. Now, when we work together, I'll teach you, I'll guide you what to do with those memories and how to work with being triggered. But for now, can you please just put them on the shelf and instead think and say to yourself, I can be a good parent because, fill in the blank. For example, because I am caring and I worry about our relationship. Therefore, I am trying to change it and I'm watching this video. Now we're ready for step 3, in which I recommend to take an emotional distance And I'm going to move away so that you remember this. We had the physical distance. Now we have an emotional one where you look at the parent and the child as if they are two strangers that you don't know. Let's use the example, my favorite argument around bedtime. Here's a parent that has an agenda. They want to accomplish something. For example, maybe they don't want a cranky child the next day, so they want to insist on the child going to sleep early. They want the child to have a restful sleep. And here's a child that has an agenda. So try and get into a child's shoes. Perhaps they want more downtime before they go to bed, or perhaps they want more control over their schedule of bedtime and in general. Now you are ready for step 4, which is going back into the ring, back into the fighting ring, except that this time you're not going to fight. You are going to use a different type of communication. It's called nonviolent communication, which I will teach you how to use when we work together. It sounds something like this. Well, my child, I heard that from what you're telling me, it seems that you want to have a later bedtime, or perhaps you just want more control over your schedule in general. Now your child will feel heard. And this is your chance to express your opinion, because when they're feeling heard, they're more apt to listen to your feelings. Well, this is my thought. Do you remember, my child, that when you're tired, you have very bad days, you can't focus at school, you have arguments and fights, and that's what I was trying to prevent from happening. What do you think about you coming home straight from school, doing your homework without a reminder, and then as a reward, you'll get to have a 30-minute later bedtime? Now, you and your child can go back and forth here, discussing this until you reach an agreement. And yes, I can imagine what you're saying right now. Roberta, are you suggesting that I'm going to lose control over the household? No, the opposite will happen. When you acknowledge that your child has their own personality, their own wishes and wills, you are in effect raising and creating a resilient child. And we all want that, right? We want our child to be able to adapt as quickly as possible to our ever so fast-paced environment. And how are they going to do that if they don't practice making choices and taking on responsibilities? In addition, your decisions will be contingent upon their choices. Because if they come home from school and they don't do their homework right away, they don't get the extra bedtime. At which point you can say, well, you made that choice. It wasn't such a wise choice, and now you have to go to sleep at your regular bedtime. They'll complain, and then you come back with, I know that tomorrow you'll be able to make a wiser choice and do your homework right away without reminders so that you can get that extra bedtime. Now, remember to be kind to yourselves, that even if you don't say it in that tone, in that manner, you're still learning. Remember? Okay. This is just one way I work with families. I can help you make the changes you want, in the dynamics or the behaviors. However, my work is not just about stopping unwanted behaviors and starting new ones. It's about helping you explore your vision for the future of your family. Do you want to have trips with your adult children? Do you want them to bring your grandchildren or your grandpuppies, whatever they may have, to visit you? If so, I recommend that you start working on the change now, because the later we wait to work with children to create a change, the harder it is, if at all possible. I provide virtual sessions, and you may reach me at the email below, ShagamMSW@icloud.com. Also, I welcome any feedback, ideas, doubts, disagreements you have, because that's how I grow and improve. If you like the content of this video, you may click and subscribe to be notified when I post new videos. Yeah. However, don't hold your breath, because I'd rather be working with families such as yourselves than making these videos. Thanks for watching.